time is it to Legoland today? Well, yesterday. First trip to Legoland today. Or this week, I don't know. Awesome. And returners, welcome back, right? Very exciting. Are you guys liking Legoland so far?
Yes.
Awesome. Welcome into Sea Life. It's the cool aquarium side of Legoland, which is awesome. Not all the Legolands have one of us. Soon, hopefully, they all will, but for the meantime, we're here. It's really exciting. It is about to be 1 p.m. and that is when we're going to be feeding all of our animals in here. So they're going to start eating. I'll show you guys where it's all happening, what they're eating, who's eating what, and tell you everything about all the animals in here. Yeah, you have a question?
You have Mr. Gold.
I don't have Mr. Gold now. All right. So, ocean habitat behind me. It looks like they already started eating up at the top. You might see some white poles sticking into the water up there. Those are target feeding poles is what they're called. On the ends of those poles, depends on the day. It has a variety of different fish. Sometimes it's herring, sometimes it's salmon, capelin, sometimes it's squid. You can tell though when it is squid, the sharks aren't really interested in it. They like salmon more than squid, as we probably all do too. Salmon's very fatty, it's delicious to them as it is delicious to us. But they're back there eating off those target poles. Up in this corner to my left, where this big girl right here is sliding the pin down, is where we're feeding all of our rays. And then over the tunnels where we're feeding our zebra sharks, those really long, tan, spotted sharks. And then the fish will get fed at the very end, as well as our guitar fish at the very end. You guys can watch. We have some big fish in there trying to steal some food away from our sharks, like our big emperor snapper. He'll do some laps and you'll see him for sure. Right now, it looks like our eel was doing some laps earlier. Did you guys see the moray eel swimming along the side earlier? Yeah? Huge, really big eel. So he's also gonna get fed. They all have different teeth and they all eat similar stuff, but kind of different. So you guys all know what shark teeth look like, right? Shark teeth are really big. You guys think that these sharks in here have really big shark teeth? Yeah, do you think they're like this big?
Yes.
Yeah, you think so? No, this guy looks really big. What about this big? Think they're this big?
Yes.
That's even bigger. There's no way, right? I have these little tiny ones. Do you think they're this big? Looks more accurate, right? These are their actual shark teeth. We did collect them from this ocean habitat behind me. These are tiny, tiny teeth. Those gray reef sharks, those big gray sharks over there, that's how small their teeth are. And if they have small teeth like this, do you think they're eating really big prey or really small prey? Small prey, right? So we said herring, capelin, right? Those are types of fish. You probably don't know what those look like. Just imagine fish in your head, like the little drawing that you might draw. Salmon, we know what that looks like, but they're not eating whole salmon back there. They have fillets back there, which is really nice for them. And then squid. The squid are actually pretty small too, what they're eating. Our stingrays are eating a little bit different types of animals because their jaws look like this. You guys see teeth on there? No, right? We don't see any sharp teeth. What about this? This looks like snake skin, right? This is essentially like their teeth, but instead of biting down on something, they crush it with these two plates in their mouth. So this hinge closes like a jaw. They can crush their favorite foods, which oftentimes on the bottoms of the oceans are mollusks, right? Hard shells like this. Now, if I had just these tiny teeth, do you think I could break a really hard shell like this? No, I'd probably break my teeth. Wouldn't be nice for me. But if I had a big plate and just crush the shell instead, do you think that would be easier?
Yeah.
Yes. There's some yummy meat on the inside. We use that crushing to get to the meat. And you might watch some of our stingrays come, for sure our honeycomb stingray who's been saying hello to us on the window here, kind of moving her jaw or her mouth back and forth, and that's that kind of crushing motion. And eventually, you might see some cow-nosed stingrays that are smaller, dig through the sand, look for some extra food, and just spit out the shells behind them. That's what they do. That was our guitar fish, and she is going to be fed at the end, so we'll talk about her later. But she is a type of ray. Really cool. So if you guys saw, you guys can see her moving her mouth right here. She might be spitting out some food, which is pretty cool. She doesn't have any hands, right? You gotta use just her mouth to do everything. Oftentimes she's on the ocean floor, so she kind of uses the ocean floor as a plate. But when we're feeding her up high and she has to grab food and come back down, she uses this acrylic here, or this window here, as kind of like a plate, just putting her food in front of her so it doesn't float away from her, right? But she'll kind of move the food in and out of her mouth just to crush it, cut it up a little bit more. Those sharks back there you might see are pretty hungry, they're excited. And you might see a shark go grab some food off the pole and then shake their heads like this really fast. Maybe just a couple like that, right? That is very, very specific to their types of teeth. This is what shark teeth look like. You guys can kind of see it up close. You guys see all those serrated edges on there? Yeah, serrated edges, just like a dinner knife, right? What do we use a dinner knife for? Yeah.
Food.
Yes, we use it for food. We use it for cutting up our food, right? We want to make it smaller, easier to eat and bite. But do sharks have hands? Can they cut up your food? No, what do they have instead? They have fins. Fins can't hold a knife. They can't hold a fork. But their teeth have those serrated edges, just like a knife. They look exactly the same, right here, right? Same sort of serrated edges. And instead of using hands to cut it up, when they catch some fish in their mouths, they'll just shake their heads back and forth, using their teeth to cut up all the food inside their mouths, so it's easier to swallow. Just a smaller amount of food, which is really cool. Our zebra sharks, you guys see the really long tan spotted sharks? You guys are walking through here? They have really, really long tails. If you didn't see what they look like, this is what they look like. Our zebra sharks. They're our biggest sharks in here. Their species can get up to 12 feet long. Our longest is around like 8 feet. And their mouths look super different even from our other sharks. This is what their jaws look like. So you guys see teeth on there? It's kind of far away, so I don't expect you to see teeth. All these little tiny bumps on here though are teeth. Really tiny teeth. But these jaws are also kind of flat. They don't look quite the same as other shark jaws. They're also flat because they also live on the ocean floor. They also eat the same kind of animals that our stingrays eat. And instead of kind of biting through things, even though they can, they use that flat jaw to kind of crush different types of animals, like crabs or shrimp that have an exoskeleton or shells around them, right? That's what they're like. So we do feed our stingrays by hand, and we do feed our zebra sharks by hand as well, because they just vacuum the food into their mouths. You guys can see those target pools back there. Clearly not feeding those other sharks by hand. Why do you think that is? Yeah. Because they bite. They have teeth, right? We like to say here though at Sea Life, if you are even afraid of some of our sharks, it's a normal kind of fear to be afraid of sharks. If you are, we always like to try to say that anything with teeth can bite, right? Do you have a little brother or sister at home? My little sister used to bite me all the time, so I know for sure that your little siblings can also bite. Maybe your big sibling bites. Maybe you have a cat at home. Cats love to bite you. That's how they say, I love you. It's like, they just nibble on your hands. Maybe dogs, if they're playing a little rough, they like to bite too. Anything with teeth can bite. And that includes sharks as well. Most of the time though, they just have really bad eyesight, and they're looking for something else to eat, and we just get in the way of them, right? That's the issue there with some of the sharks. But most of the time, like even these sharks here, they can get up to 6, 7 feet long. Not interested in us. We're the same size as them. They're eating something really small. Now this big shark tooth that we saw here is from a great white shark. And a great white shark can essentially get to 5 times the size of those sharks in there. So really, really large. So they definitely eat larger prey. And that's where it can get a little confusing for them, because they have really bad eyesight. They don't have any optometrists in the ocean. They can't get glasses. So they just mistake us for something else, right? We talk about all the different animals that they eat in here, right? Different types of fish or different types of mollusks that they eat, right? We all have here at Sea Life, all the food we feed them is sustainable seafood. Has anyone heard of sustainable seafood before? Maybe. Raise your hand if you've heard of sustainable seafood. Yeah, no, it's kind of a weird word. What does it mean? Have you heard of the word bycatch before? Bycatch. Bycatch is something pretty simple concept to understand. So let's pretend I'm a fisherman and I have a big net that I'm going to cast out into this habitat here. And my goal is to catch this little yellow fish here, or just the yellow fishes in here. But if I cast a humongous, huge net into the water, am I only going to catch that yellow fish? No, right? I'm going to catch a bunch of other fish as well. All the other fish that I did not mean to catch, maybe some stingrays, maybe some coral, all of that is called bycatch. There's about 3 million sharks and rays every year who get caught in bycatch. They're not meant to be caught, but they do get caught because we're trying to catch something else. So sustainable seafood, and why we partner with Monterey Bay Aquarium for their seafood watch, just means we're either purchasing different types of fish that aren't farmed or fished in that way, or there's an abundance of that type of fish. We're not taking too much out of the oceans. I have some here you guys can take home with you. They're like a red light, green light system. Tells you, green light, go for it. There's different tunas on each of this list. And ahi albacore is almost always in the green, which is awesome and delicious, right? Yellowfin tuna, almost always in the yellow. It feels pretty fitting for them, right? Yellowfin. But that bluefin tuna is almost always in the red. Has anyone heard of the bluefin tuna before? They are gigantic. They go for tens of thousands of dollars just for one fish if you catch it. Really hard to catch though. However, we're missing a lot of big fish in the ocean, and our bigger animals are missing their meals when we take those animals out of the ocean from them, right? Because of that, a lot of animals are going extinct or critically endangered. About a third of all sharks are critically endangered because of similar facts to that, right? So we feed them sustainable seafood here, and it's also all restaurant quality. So if we wanted to steal some seafood from our aquariums, from our animals, we could. We don't, obviously. They eat a lot better than I do. A lot of crab, a lot of shrimp, a lot of salmon. It can be a little expensive, but they like it. They're pretty picky in that way. Our sharks, too, have almost always lived in human care. So the big question we always get here at Sea Life is if our sharks eat any of the other fish in this habitat. And the answer is no, because we do feed them so often. We feed them 3 times a week here, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We're not giving them more than they're supposed to be eating. We're giving them the correct amount, but the frequency of them eating kind of deters them from wanting extra food. I like to say humans are the only animals that like to eat for fun. So if we're gonna go get something tasty like the granny apple fries in the back of the park, if you haven't had them, go back there, granny apple fries. They're literally apples cut into fry shape and fried with cinnamon sugar. It's delicious, right? But we only eat that just for fun. We don't need to eat it to keep us healthy. If anything, it's not super healthy at all. But they only eat to keep them sustained. They don't want to eat anything extra. So they're not going to eat anything extra. We just make sure they're fully full. They need everything that they want. They have everything that they would want in there. Which is pretty awesome. All right. Down in this corner, I know you guys saw these little tiny sharks doing some laps around here. Those are called our brown-banded bamboo sharks. Hopefully they swim around again. Our aquarius up here might drop down their food as well. And it's another form of target feeding for getting the food to the animal instead of having them look for their own food, right? Our fish are a little bit different. We will broadcast feed to them. We broadcast feed, basically just tossing a bunch of food into the ocean habitat for them. Our fish in here get fed twice a day, so they eat way more often. Our sharks get fed 3 times a week, so it's a little bit different. Our fish are also omnivores. Do you guys know what an omnivore is? What is an omnivore? Can anybody tell me? Yeah? Do you know? Yeah? Yes, they eat meat and plants. Good job, my friend. They eat meat and plants. So today, because we're feeding the rest of the animals some meat in here, they're probably going to also have their meat part of their diet. But we're going to see at the very end what they're actually going to eat. Because I don't know. It's up to the aquarius. I'm not here every single day to see what they eat every day, so we're going to have to see. Here comes one of our white tips right here. They're also getting fed back there. That is their pole that's still sticking in the water on the left. Because they do get fed every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, Friday's kind of an optional day for them. If they're still hungry and they need to eat, they will. If they're not hungry anymore, they just won't. They might go check out to see if there's some salmon, because they do love that salmon. But if there isn't salmon anymore, they're like, I'm good, I don't need anything. I can wait till Monday, right? And it's not that long for them. Sharks can kind of go months without eating. On average, they eat like once a week or once every other week in the ocean. But they can go a couple months without eating anything, which is pretty incredible for them. Pretty cool. All right. So here's our zebra shark. She just came back out. She's all the way in the back wall. Hopefully she comes back around. You guys can see her as well. We do have 1 male and 1 female in here, and our male is on loan to us from the Aquarium of the Pacific up in Long Beach, if you guys have been there. They're good friends of ours. He's on loan to us. They're part of a project called the Star Project, and we're trying to collect more of these. Does anyone know what these are? You might have seen some in a touch pool today. Maybe not. Does anyone know what this is? It is a shark egg. That's perfect. It is a shark egg. This is a zebra shark egg. Now this is dried up. Usually they're a little lighter green. You can kind of see through them. This one's all dried up. Trying to collect more of these from our female in here, because they are also critically endangered in the oceans that they live in, all the way in the Southeast Asia near Malaysia and Indonesia is where these sharks tend to live. And because they're critically endangered, we're doing our part, as well as like 500 other aquariums, to send out all those sharks back into the oceans there. Now our goal is 500 sharks. Us as a collective have sent 25, so we're nowhere near hitting the 500, but we're getting there. It just takes some time. Our female here is a little bit older, so she's a little less interested as she could have been when she was younger, and our male is oppositely very young, so he doesn't really know what's going on. So we're hoping for the best, however. You can only cross your fingers, right? All right. There's a lot of fishes in here right now. If you were walking through the tunnel, you probably wouldn't see a whole lot of the fishes, but here they are, splashing around in the front here. You can kind of tell what kind of fish is which by looking at their certain body shape. That's how we can kind of determine whether or not this fish is a tang, or this fish is a unicorn fish, or this fish is a snapper. They all go in little categories like that. Some of them like this, these three that are fighting over some food right here in the middle, those are rabbit fish, the same as the little yellow and black ones that are swimming around. So even though one is way bigger, they might look a little bit different, they're still rabbit fish based on little features that they have. It's really fun that you guys got to see this stingray today, our honeycomb that was eaten on the glass here. If it's not a feeding day, she's not hanging out here, or feeding time basically. She comes out only to eat, otherwise there's a little platform in that corner where she hangs out all day and night. She likes to be on her lonesome until it's time to eat, because she is hungry girl. I like to call her Pooh Bear. That's my nickname for her, because she just loves to eat. And she's honeycomb stingray. I think that's fitting. All right, if you look all the way in the very back right now, we're feeding our guitar fish back there. Now that pool is around 25 feet long, and it is black with yellow tape on it. You guys can notice the black and yellow tape. They're different color on purpose because we actually did train our animals. Yeah, here's another target feeding. We did train our animals to look at these colors and understand that it's not theirs. However, some of our stingrays are a little bit pesky about those food for our guitar fish back there, because we have to put it all the way on the ocean floor and to make sure that she's going to get the food that she needs. There's a lot of chatter up top trying to say there's a mangrove or there's a honeycomb, trying to keep those stingrays far away from them by giving them other incentives to go eat, just so they don't steal some food. Now those fish are going to try to get through that cylinder. There's a little like felt curtain in front of it. I don't know, sometimes fish can figure it out, sometimes they can't going through it, but it is for our bamboo sharks. Now, whether or not they want to eat is up to them. It looks, I can see her tail right now, she knows that it's there. I don't think she's too interested in eating anymore today, but she can if she wants to. So that is that target feeding. We bring the food from the top all the way down to the bottom. And it looks like we also started doing our broadcast feed as well, just tossing in a bunch of the food into the water. And it does look like it is going to be a meat type of meal today, I guess, meat type of meal. Yeah, if you look at these stingrays, use their cow nose. They like drop the front of their nose into the sand, like they're cows grazing on some sand. There's the bamboo shark. She's gonna kind of circle around, see what's happening. This is our big fish right here, who's also looking for some extra food. Oh, she's like, oh, it landed on me. This big fish is our Queensland grouper. And she is still a juvenile, even though she is gigantic, this black and white with the yellow on the ends of her fins. She's still a juvenile, but she's going to get gigantic as an adult. She can get up to, I think, 600 pounds is what they said. Huge. Our last one is around this third of the size of this rock here. So she's still a baby, and she is that big. She's the second largest fish we have in here. She's going to outgrow that emperor snapper any day now. She's pretty cool. All right. That's pretty much it for the feeding, you guys. If you guys want me to answer any questions, I'm going to be standing right here for a little bit. I can answer anything you guys might want to know. If not, you're free to leave, but you're also free to just keep watching. Again, my name was Lizzie. If you guys liked the show today, let me know. Leave us comments on those little kiosks. We are in a competition with Legoland, the park versus Sea Life. We're a lot smaller, so we almost never win. It's a monthly thing. But we're trying to get more surveys in than they get. And it's really hard now that the water park is also open. So we're trying to win, but we'll do our best. If you guys want to leave us comments, please do. I also have these cards. You guys can scan just for like a Yelp or TripAdvisor pages as well. Those also count. And if we do win, it gives us a little bonus incentive on our, for us, which would be awesome. Almost out. It's like essentially tipping without giving us cash, right? If you want, you don't have to. But if we did a good job, please let us know. If your day was good too, we want to know. If your day was bad or anything you want fixed, something you think needs improvement in the park or in Sea Life itself, also let us know. We read every single comment. So please, do it. I also have those seafood watch cards right up here as well. Take one home. I keep one in my wallet. It folds up really nice. Anytime we go eat seafood, I refer to the card. There's different ones for different seasons, so you'll have to come back after summer's over to get the fall and winter one. All right? Sweet. Thank you guys so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, guys.